Hi there, I'm Mark Marshall from Sandula Conservation. I'm talking about the three T's. Now, what on earth is the three T's? It's easy: turtles, tortoises, and terrapins. Now, those are the three chelonian species that occur in South Africa. Chelonian is the big word for these little guys that have a shell on their back. That's all it means. All right. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning them is because they are called different things from all around the world. For example, we know it as a terrapin. Okay. In America, they call it a slider or a water turtle or a water tortoise. But no, we got to remember wherever we are, there's a different name for these little guys. So if you're in South Africa, you have to use the South Africa name for these guys. All right. Now, the first one to speak to is about turtles. I get phoned often. Please, Mark, come along to my house. We've got a turtle in the garden. I'm going, no, man. Turtles don't like walking on the ground. They don't like the residential areas. They don't like cities or anything like that. They don't like the bush. They only like the sea. And the only time they come onto land is when they are female and they come onto the beach to lay their eggs. After they lay the eggs, they do not hang around. They just get up and go back to the sea. Now, turtles heads are always sticking out of their shell. They cannot pull their head back into the shell like a tortoise does. So that's the one difference. Also, the other difference is they don't have legs. They actually have flippers, allowing them to swim in the sea. Even when they're on land, they use their flippers as a means to get around. So turtles have flippers, not legs and feet. Okay. Now, tortoises, they're the ones that we find in our gardens or in our yards or in the bush or in the veldt. These guys have got obviously a permanent shell on their body, head that sticks out, legs that stick out, and if it gets scared, whoops, they get sucked back into the shell again as a defense mechanism, or when they're a little bit shy. Even when they're cold, they'll huddle up into their little shell. So they walk around permanently with their house on their back, literally. Now, everyone thinks they are separate from their shell, and you often see little cartoons where a tortoise falls out of a shell. That is incorrect. Tortoises are stuck to their shells. Their shells are part of them. In fact, their spine is actually fused to the underneath surface of their shell. So these guys are permanently attached to the shell. You cannot separate them from their shell. And they are born with their shell. They hatch from the egg with a shell on them, and their shell grows with them. So if they get big, their shell gets big. So don't worry about that. They have got a secure home forever, and their shell is never heavy for them because the shell is part of them. So don't worry. You're never thinking it's going to be cruel for a tortoise. Now, the third one to speak about is a terrapin. Now, a terrapin is a much flatter creature. It looks like a tortoise that's been squashed. It's flat and it's got legs, not flippers like a turtle, got legs, but it's got long claws and it's got webbing between its toes, allowing it to swim. So these guys live on land and water, but they spend most of the time in the water. Yes, they are literally a tortoise that's flattened that lives in the water. So they cruise around all the time underwater looking for food and all that kind of stuff with those little, I could just say, webbed feet, not flippers, and not legs like a normal tortoise. And their head doesn't go in and out of the shell like a normal tortoise does. It comes in and out sideways. So when you see a terrapin looking at you, if it's in its shell, its head is actually looking at you skew. That sees you totally different to the way you think they would. They actually look very, very funny, right? And yes, they can bite sometimes, but they give off a very foul defensive smell if you handle them incorrectly and make them feel threatened. So don't go playing with these guys, okay? Also, if you find a baby tortoise, don't keep it thinking that you're looking after it. It can't look after itself. The smaller, the cuter he is, the quicker you must release him in the bush because he needs the bush. The menu that the bush supplies them is far better than what we can ever give them. So let them go to the bush as soon as you can. Don't hold them captive. They do not make good pets. And it's cruel to keep the little guy. He wants to roam around, get full sun every day, and literally eat from the best menu in the world, which is the bush. Hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to visit sandula.co.za or Mark Marshall, Sandula Conservation on Facebook. Thanks.